Hi there, when it is currently the 9th of May 2015, meteorologist Robert Speta here with you yet again. We are still tracking our typhoon out here in the Western Pacific, and over the course of the next 24 hours, this is really going to start approaching the Philippines. If you are out here across eastern and northern portions of Luzon, conditions as we go ahead through your Saturday afternoon to the evening hours will start to deteriorate quite rapidly as we start to see our typhoon move off into that direction. Also, a little bit later on in this update, I do want to talk about our tropical depression, soon to be tropical storm Dolphin. I know we've been saying that for several days. It looks like the U.S. military has upgraded the National Weather Service there in Guam, and they're the official warning agencies for a lot of these islands out here. So we're going to touch on that for a little bit, but let's talk about our typhoon here. Over the course of the past 24 hours, this has actually seen some re-intensification. I say re-intensification because if you remember and if you follow us on our Facebook and Twitter page, Friday morning we saw some weakening in this storm system. It had a lot of drier inflow come into it, and you can see here on the satellite imagery that clear cloud cover off there towards the north and off towards the east is really lacking. That is part of that dry air which just got wrapped into the storm system, and it caused it to really not look that great on satellite. The eye started to fall apart, and you really still cannot see an eye here. Nonetheless, the Japan Meteorological Agency still is rating this a strong typhoon with winds upwards of about 85, gusting to 120 knots, pressure now down to 950 HPA, and as you can see here on the satellite imagery, it is starting to get more convection built up in that core. We have very warm sea surface temperatures just off the eastern seaboards of Visayas and southeastern Luzon, and I think that's fueling into the storm system and let it get one last burst of convection before it starts to make landfall here. Do like the microwave imagery. I showed you this a few days ago, said we're going to revisit it as it starts to make landfall, and the big thing you can actually pick up from this imagery here today is the fact that that core, that eye that I'm talking about, it was very organized, and you can see it kind of fall apart. It kind of falls apart here, but nonetheless, we still have that area of higher cloud tops in the center of circulation, and these areas, that's where you're going to be seeing those winds gusting well over 100 knots, and that is enough to cause some serious damage out here. And that's actually one of the big things I do want to talk about. Even though this is not a super typhoon, it still is going to be bringing winds high enough out here in northern portions of Luzon where light objects are going to be tossed about. And tin roofing, anything that's unsecure out here, you're going to be looking at the risk of some flying debris. Now, think about it this way. You have winds around 100 knots gusting. Anything that is light enough to be picked up by that wind could potentially be moving at 100 knots. And just think about getting hit by a fastball if you're playing baseball from a professional. It's going to hurt. And that's one of the key things I do want to keep in mind here is that flying debris is definitely a big issue, but another big issue is going to be the rainfall and even the threat of storm surge. Now, landfall is actually expected near Apari here on Sunday morning as the storm tracks off there towards the north. I do want to note signal force warnings have been issued up and down the eastern seaboards of Luzon here. The good news, that's on the western periphery of our storm system. So the winds likely are going to be a little bit less as opposed if this storm system was a little bit closer, just moving directly over the islands, obviously. But the big new thing is that as this does come on shore, a lot of those winds are going to start to wrap around, and I think the threat of storm surge is really going to be off there into Cagayan in the right front quadrant of this storm system as it starts to move overhead. And let's actually talk about that a little more in depth here, looking at the Joint Typhoon Warning Center's track. They're also shifting their track a little bit farther there towards the east. Do want to note that this one here on the left, that is from yesterday. This is from today. Zoom it in a little bit there, you can see how this starts to come on shore, and it's these areas that are just towards the right of that center of circulation that is seeing that threat of storm surge out here as this starts to push overhead. So I don't see a very high threat of surge, and nothing catastrophic, but anybody right near the immediate coastline, there is going to be some coastal flooding coming out of this. Another big issue is that as this storm makes landfall into the morning hours, which we're expecting landfall around 8 to 9 a.m. Philippine Standard Time, we are seeing a high tide out here now. It's about 1 to 2 meters above normal, but that's also going to contribute to the threat of some flooding here. So don't think that just because this is a strong typhoon, it's not a super typhoon, you're not going to see coastal flooding, because that is going to be a threat as we go ahead through the next 24 hours. Another big issue, of course, is the rainfall. Some areas could see as much as 250 millimeters once it starts to come on shore, as well as flooding and landslides. So now flooding likely will be in these rivers, especially there in northeastern portions of the island, in a lot of these rural areas, but also landslides in some of these steeper elevations out there in northeastern Luzon. You have to remember, a lot of these locations, if you're unfamiliar with the geography of the Philippines, is very mountainous and rural, and especially there into areas south of Cagayan, where this storm system is coming on shore. The fantastic news is that this is a very low population. I actually think one of the big reasons why there is a low population here is the fact that it gets hit by typhoons so often. So this isn't anything that is unheard of here. This isn't anything that is, how do you say, it just record-breaking. It's another typhoon, but one of the big things I think is that this is our 6th named storm system of the year. This is the 3rd typhoon to impact the Philippines thus far this tropical season, so it definitely has been very active. We have been looking at a lot of storms so far, and we do have another one potentially impacting as we look ahead later on this month. So a lot of stuff to be had out here. Now, I do want to mention that our storm is going to continue to track off here towards the north, kind of skirt the coast of Taiwan, and then get absorbed with the rainy season front, which is extending over southeastern China and off there towards western portions of Japan. Now, as that starts to move into that direction, it is going to enhance that front. So we're going to be looking at a lot of rainfall out here. But another big issue is that this is going to really hit that, and think of this is basically a tributary of 2 rivers. You have the one here towards the north and the one here towards the south coming in. They're going to flow together and basically shoot off there towards the northeast, right over those of you in the southern Japanese islands out here. You're going to be feeling the impact from this storm system. I expect it to move overhead as we go ahead into your Tuesday morning. If you are here in Okinawa, high chance of some tropical storm strength winds. Now, we got a lot of military watching from there. Big issue. If you are on these islands and you've never been through a typhoon, the good news for Japan as opposed to the Philippines for the most part is that Okinawa, very strict building codes, and definitely that island is built like a fortress to guard against the typhoon threat. So as long as you pick everything up and stay indoors, you should be okay when the storm system moves overhead. And it likely will only be a severe tropical storm when it comes by, but still is going to be high enough winds to really toss things about. So you just want to make those preparations. Flying debris here is actually one of the biggest issues in the southern Japanese islands. Very steep coastlines, so storm surge typically isn't a big threat. High waves will be a threat, though, because we're going to be looking at a very large fetch area coming in from the south ahead of the storm system. So especially along the southern coastlines, don't be one of those people that want to head out and take some photos or videos of the waves and you get a little too close. And last year we actually seen that with several people. They lost their lives because they wanted to go out and film some waves in a typhoon. And it's not worth it, guys. If you want to go out and film, ensure you do it safely. Don't get too close. Don't try to be the person that gets the footage. 10 minutes of fame on YouTube isn't worth it if you want to try to get some really good footage of a typhoon. And I definitely want you to keep that in mind. This is going to push overhead on Tuesday, though, and then as it tracks off there towards the northeast, most of Japan's actually going to be somewhat impacted by this, bringing some widespread rain showers, even a few scattered thunderstorms. Now, back towards the southeast, do want to also mention our other storm system over here. That is it's our tropical depression. The Joint Typhoon Warning Center has upgraded this to a tropical storm, at least at this time. They do expect it to continue to intensify to about a Category 3 equivalent if we were talking about this on the Saffir-Simpson scale. Moving north of Chuuk, good news there. Remember, they were impacted by Misak last month, and then eventually potentially impacting those of you into Guam. Any impact on the Philippines or the southern Japan, that's way down the road, and it's too far to really say anything at this time. Live update today at 3 p.m. Philippine Standard Time, 2 p.m. Japan Standard Time. I think I got that backwards, actually. 3 p.m. Japan Standard Time, 2 p.m. Philippine Standard Time, 06 Universal Standard Time. Yeah, we're going to be having a live cast here at westernpacificweather.com. So if you want to join in with that, please let me know, or just check back in at the YouTube channel, and we'll be having that live cast run. So any questions, comments you may have, we can answer it live there for you. Talk about the storm system as it starts to near landfall. Okay, another 10-minute long update. Now, it's a little bit less than what I have been doing the last several days. A lot of stuff to talk about, though, and just getting ready for that live cast later on. Might have another green screen update as well here. Probably maybe tonight. Yeah, probably later this evening. All right, guys, thanks again for watching here at westernpacificweather.com. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, post them down there in the comment box below. And as always, stay safe out there.